Welcome to our explainer. You know how some people just seem to absorb new languages? It's like magic, right? Well, for so many of us, it feels like a total uphill battle. Well, today we're going to look past that whole idea of a language gene and really figure out what drives success. Let's jump in. So, this is the big question, isn't it? You see someone become fluent in like a year, and you can't help but think, wow, they must just be a natural. It feels like they were born with some kind of special gift. But is that really the whole story, or is there something deeper going on? Okay, so first off, this idea of a gift isn't completely made up. It's actually rooted in a real scientific concept. For a long time, researchers have been trying to pin down and measure this so-called natural talent. And what they found is pretty interesting. The official name for this gift is language learning aptitude. And really, all it is a way to measure your potential. It's trying to predict how quickly you could learn a language and how good you could get, if everything else was equal. For a long time, this was the way we tried to quantify that natural knack for languages. A psychologist named John B. Carroll really broke this down into 4 key skills. You can kind of think of them as the core parts of your language learning engine. First, you've got phonetic coding ability. That's just how well your ear can tell the difference between new sounds. Then there's grammatical sensitivity. That's your gut feeling for how sentences are put together. Third is rote learning ability. Basically your memory for new words. Simple as that. And last, inductive learning ability. This is your inner detective, your ability to figure out the rules of the language on your own, just by seeing them in action. So, for decades, that was pretty much the story. Your aptitude was your destiny. But here's where things get really exciting. Newer science is showing that this whole idea is way too simple. Why? Because our aptitude might not be set in stone like we thought. That's right. It turns out your aptitude isn't some fixed number you're born with. It's more like a muscle. And the latest research shows that it can actually change. It can adapt, and it can even get stronger over time with the right kind of experiences. So what does a dynamic aptitude even mean? Well, it means that even if some people start out with more efficient brain wiring for language, really intensive learning can literally rewire your brain. It also means that things we never really considered talent, like how emotionally connected you feel to a language or how open you are to another culture, they play a huge role. Aptitude is just a much bigger, more complicated, and honestly a more hopeful picture than we ever thought. So if aptitude is the engine, what's the fuel, right? What's the thing that actually makes you want to start the car and go somewhere? This brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, and you could argue it's even more powerful. We're talking about motivation, but a very specific kind, driven by your imagination. Let me introduce you to the ideal L2 self. This idea comes from a researcher named Zoltan Dornier, and it's not just some fuzzy goal like, I want to learn Spanish. No. It's a rich, super detailed vision of who you will be once you're fluent. You don't just know Spanish, you are a Spanish speaker. You can see yourself ordering coffee in Madrid, you can hear yourself laughing with new friends, you feel totally at home. That vision, that becomes your North Star. I absolutely love this quote. It just captures the whole idea so perfectly. Your ideal self isn't just daydreaming. It's a creative force. It's what connects the boring stuff you have to do today, like memorizing verb charts, to that amazing future you're trying to build. It gives all that hard work a purpose. So how do you actually use this? Well, the research points to 3 key things. First, make that vision as vivid as you can. What does it look like? What does it sound like? How does it feel? Second, you have to truly believe it's plausible, that this future person is a realistic version of you. And third, you need a plan. A vision without a plan is just a fantasy. Your ideal self needs a roadmap to become your actual self. Okay, so we have our engine, our aptitude, and we have our destination, that ideal self. But what if the road ahead is completely blocked? This brings us to the final crucial component, the huge role our emotions play in either clearing the path for us or building a giant wall. The linguist Stephen Krashen had a name for this, the affective filter. Think of it like an invisible emotional shield. When you feel anxious or judged or embarrassed, that filter goes up. And when it's up, it literally does not matter how good your teacher is or how much you study. The information just bounces right off. Your brain is so busy protecting itself that it can't be open to learning. I mean, just look at the difference between these 2 classrooms. In one, you're sitting by yourself, you're scared to talk, and you get in trouble for making mistakes. That filter goes up instantly. But in the other one,
You're encouraged to take chances, your ideas matter, and making mistakes is just seen as part of the process. In a space like that, the wall comes down, and the language can just flow in.
So for anyone learning a language or teaching one, it is so important to watch out for these filter raisers. Things like being corrected in front of the whole class or being forced to speak before you feel ready. Those things can slam the learning door shut. A safe, supportive environment isn't just a nice to have, it is an absolute must-have for success.
All right, we've talked about the brain, the heart, and the mind. We've looked at the cognitive side, the motivational side, and the emotional side. Now let's put it all together into one simple, powerful model for what it really takes to learn a new language. Let's go back to that journey metaphor, because it works so well here. Your aptitude, that's your engine. It helps decide how fast and efficiently you can travel. Your motivation, that ideal self we talked about, that's your destination. It's what makes the whole trip worth it. And a low affective filter, that's a wide open, clear highway with no traffic. You really do need all three for a successful journey.
So here's the big takeaway. Success is not just about having a gift. It's a formula. It's this beautiful combination of your natural abilities, a powerful vision for your future, and an emotional state that lets you be open to learning. And you know what the best part is? While you might not be able to change your starting engine, you have a ton of control over your destination and the road you take to get there.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about whether you have the gift or not. Instead, ask yourself, who is that future fluent version of me? What are they doing? How do they feel? And most importantly, what is one small thing I can do today to start driving toward them? That's all for this one. Thanks for tuning in.